Chapter 2 Relationships Now. Society affects your relationships and the state you are in. Yes, if you thought the health of any relationship you have is merely the result of the attitude of two people towards each other, you are wrong. Not only does the world you live in impact the state of your relationships, but so do trends and changes that take place in the environment you call home. I am referring here not only to the relationships with loved ones or romantic partners, but also to every single individual you meet during the day. It's easy to dismiss the interaction you have with the cashier at your grocery store, the mailman dropping off your mail, and the security officer at your office building as a relationship. Yet every time that you are standing opposite another being, interacting with them in any way, not only verbally, you are for that moment standing in a relationship. In the formal definition of relationships provided by the Mental Health Foundation, they define it as the way two or more people are connected. If you think that trust doesn't play a role in these relationships, I want to paint a picture to show you how much of a role trust plays. Picture the scene. It is almost dark and the number of people on the subway is getting less. You are in a carriage and there are only 2 men and 3 other women left who need to get off. As the train pulls away after the last stop, the one before you get off. It is only you and 2 men on the train. The one looks decent. Judging by the manner that he is dressed, you assume he is working in the corporate world. You quickly decided that he was looking like a decent fellow. The other man hasn't shaved for a couple of days. He is wearing jeans with holes in them, a t-shirt with a stain on the seam, and some slogan that is slightly faded. The bit of hair that curls out from underneath his beanie seems to be dirty, and you wonder what his intentions are, where he is heading, and whether he is a danger to society. Which one do you trust more or less? Can you see without even thinking that we do it? We are constantly putting people in boxes and attaching labels to these boxes, indicating whether they can be trusted or not. This is purely a personal matter. Looking at the men on the subway with you, you've decided that the one can be trusted based on his appearance. But you don't know whether he has just murdered his girlfriend in her city apartment and is now heading to the suburbs where he lives a double life with his wife and kids. The other one whom you've deemed to be less trustworthy might look the way he does because he spends his days volunteering at a shelter that takes care of inner city kids. Now he is heading to his mom's apartment. He cares for her during her last days battling cancer. He is a genuinely good guy. We look at people through filters. These filters determine our impression of them, but it is not all we need to know about our filters. We also need to realize that society impacts our filters. The impact of modern society on our relationships. Recent studies revealed that the sense of community is an attribute of society that is on the decline. Less than half of all people between the ages of 16 and 25 consider having associations with the community they live in as important. When the same question is posed to those in the age group of 75 years and up, we look at 73.1% considering these connections as vital. You might say that society is just not that connected anymore. We don't have time to invest in many relationships even if they are with family or friends. Yet the quality of relationships we have has a much wider impact than we might think. It is why researchers in the field state that ignoring the decline of our relationships will have the same devastating results as when we would ignore the impact of smoking, obesity, or any other widespread health concern. Having a good relationship can contribute vastly to the state of our overall well-being. The book, Triumphs of Experience, published in 2012, captured the essence of what makes us happy in life. Contrary to what we so often believe, it is not money, health, or popularity that contributes to our happiness. No. It is the kind of relationships we have with others that are the foundation of a happy life. Good relationships and your health. Having good relationships can benefit your overall health and well-being in several ways. Support and access to practical help and social support when needed. When something bad happens to you, who do you call? Having someone with whom you have a good relationship and whom you know you can rely on during times of crisis brings about certainty. Regardless of how independent you are, there are many times when you might need someone to help. This can be helpful in several ways that range from having someone to bounce off ideas for your future business to just being able to call a friend to help you move a heavy table in your apartment. Increase your value. While the number of good relationships you have doesn't determine your value as a person, it will influence how valued you feel. Spending time with people who want to spend time with us leaves us feeling loved. Increasing the number of relationships in your life will surely help you feel more valued in life. Support on your journey of personal growth. Having relationships that are built on sound foundations of trust and care will help you improve the person you are. Do you want to shed extra weight? Enroll to study and get a qualification you've wanted for so long? Or just want to learn a new language? The support from the people in your network contributes to assist you in achieving these goals. More opportunities to care. When we are feeling hurt or betrayed, the easiest thing to do is to reject everyone and refuse to love and care for anyone ever again. Yet, this is only a way to punish yourself. Did you know that caring for someone reduces your stress levels and brings you greater inner calm? Thus, by ensuring you have good relationships in your life and people you can care for, you are giving yourself a gift. Easier to establish wholesome habits. Friends are often the ones that cheer you on when you are changing your lifestyle. They are the people who will support you during times when you are struggling. It is much easier to achieve greatness with the support of your network rooted in many healthy and strong relationships than when you want to do it all on your own. Enjoy a longer life. A study exploring the impact of having many strong and happy relationships in your life indicates that those going alone through life are far less likely to enjoy a long life. They compared the impact of living a secluded life to having the same negative impact on longevity as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Without going into too much detail, I want you to realize that having strong social relationships improves your quality of life. It leaves you feeling more content with the state of your life and lowers the risk of a range of mental concerns at a later stage in life. These relationships also help to lower the risk of various health concerns like strokes, several cancers, and heart disease. You will also need less professional support when you have a trusted network to lean on. The dark side of social relationships. When we explore the state of social relationships, it is important to take note that there are not merely two options. It is not a case of having good social relationships that are founded on trust and in turn, creating mutual trust, or not having any relationships at all. There is a third alternative, and this is what we can call the dark side of social relationships. The dark side refers to destructive relationships. It can also mean acting in a manner that is not socially accepted, ruining trust and friendships, and breaking up family bonds. When we explore the dark side of social relationships, we bump into abusive relationships, infidelity, and domestic violence. How to improve the state of your social relationships. If you've been in a rut for a long time and done your best to avoid situations where you would have to form social bonds, it's challenging to make the changes you need to improve the state of your social relationships. You might not even know where to start or what the first step is that you need to take. Nurture your existing relationships. You might not have good relationships, but you might still have relationships. Do you have family members from whom you've just drifted apart? Maybe a specific event many years ago caused you to stop talking to each other and you can't even remember what it was about. But you also don't know how to approach the situation. These are the relationships that you need to work on first. While not in a pleasant state, they are existing, and it is most likely that it wasn't always bad, so you would have something good to draw on during your initial contact. Reach out to expand your network. During your day, there might be many opportunities to make new acquaintances that are simply passing you by. The first step would be to notice how many people you have contact with every day. A friendly greeting passing them by can be the start of a valuable relationship. Attempt to get to know the people in your office, your clients, the lady at the store you often visit, the neighbors on your floor, or the people who share the same interests as you. Expand your network through mutual connections. The more friends you have, the more likely you would be to get invites to social gatherings. At these events, you will be able to meet friends of friends and make new acquaintances who can easily become new friends and people you can trust in your social network. Reach out to strangers. One benefit of having strong relationships is that you can care for others. While you don't have a network to care for, why not reach out and care for strangers? Get involved as a volunteer at an organization that supports a cause that you care for. Here you will be able to care, enjoy the emotional benefits of being caring towards others, and meet people who share this same desire with you. The factors affecting the state of your romantic relationships. Until now, I presented you with the ideas that you might find yourself in many relationships that you were not even aware of, and that trust is a major influencer in these relationships. We've also taken a peek at the benefits of having good relationships, how you can expand on the number of good relationships you have, and what the flip side of the coin looks like. Now, let's shift our focus to romantic relationships. The one feature that sets a romantic relationship apart from all the rest is having intimacy, and intimacy is largely influenced by the level of trust between you and your partner. What are the factors that influence the state of your romantic relationships then? The example you've had. For many of us, the most prominent relationship that we have to learn from is that of our parents. Many people would state that the way their parents raised them was far from perfect, and this will leave an impact on the way you manage your romantic relationship. Did your parents get divorced? Maybe there was infidelity, or you grew up in a home where there was just a little love lost between your parents. If you don't want to repeat their mistakes, it will require a conscious effort and persistent hard work to ensure your relationship is a far happier and more fulfilling one. Communication. Talking is easy, but we should never confuse that with communication. Communicating with your partner can be hard. A lack of communication can damage your relationship and in a manner that hurts your partner. Never choose merely sweeping issues under the carpet, for sadly they only grow on the side while out of sight. Rather, be gentle and honest in your approach, and resolve concerns before they get out of hand. The baggage of past relationships. Everyone you are in contact with during your life leaves a little impact on your being. If you've had several terrible relationships, this will be the case for you too. It's easy to allow a past relationship to affect our current relationship, yet it is not fair to ourselves and most definitely not to our partners. How you perceive yourself. Your level of confidence can become an obstacle in your relationship. Maybe you think so much of yourself and there is no proper place for anyone else in this relationship. Maybe you attach so little value to who you are that you are insecure about everything. Cheating on your partner with your career. During the many sessions I've had with clients as a relationship counselor, it became evident that most partners will take the back seat in a relationship during a time when career demands are increased. However, no partner wants to take the back seat all the time. While your career might be important to you, you can't always be working and invest no time in building the foundation of your relationship. I still have to meet the person who is in a relationship to always be alone and waiting. As one lady once explained to me, I'll rather wait for nobody than spend my life waiting for someone to come home and I never know when or for how long. Intimacy. Sex should never be the reason you are together, but it is the epiphany of having intimacy with your partner. If you and your partner are not on the same page in your approach to sex, it will drive you apart, even to the point where all trust is lost. Life stages. If you are still new in your relationship, this might not be the case. As relationships grow, it can become a case where you and your partner are not in the same stages of your lives and want different things. In longer relationships, these stages can become a concern when one partner is ready to move on to the next stage and the other is not. The impact of friends and family. His mother might interfere too much, or your best friend might want to keep you to herself. Maybe your family doesn't like your partner, or your partner's family thinks you are not good enough for him or her. These are all very challenging situations that are bound to affect your relationship. A final word. The conventional image of a relationship is not nearly sufficient to include all the different relationships you'll have during your life. While not all these relationships will be equally meaningful to you, you will reap benefits from ensuring that they are good and happy relationships. You will also benefit from having more relationships, as there are many benefits to being connected to others. For the most important relationships you will be part of, there is a range of outside factors that will influence the state of these relationships. While it is not always within your control to prevent these factors from influencing your life, you can deal with them more effectively once you are aware of these challenges. One aspect of all the relationships you will be part of in your life is trust. What is the level of trust you have, and how much trust do you instill in others? As trust is such an important part of the foundation of any relationship, we are going to explore it in much greater depth in the next chapter.